Grilling ribs is typically an all-day affair, but with brine boiling, you can do it the whole thing in under an hour. Start with your ribs and cut them in half. For this, you can do up to 3 racks at a time. I'm using spare ribs, but you could of course use St. Louis style or baby back. They all work perfectly well in this technique. And what I love about brine boiling is it takes the guesswork out of it. And oftentimes it's hard to get the meat tender to the bone, but still juicy and flavorful throughout. With regular brining, you soak the meat in cold water, usually overnight, to impart flavor. But here, we're combining the brining and cooking. Whole head of garlic, just put the whole weight of your body onto it to smash the cloves, and we can keep the skin and all. That's pretty much all the work to do. The water in the grill does the rest. For the brine boiling, have 6 quarts of water to a boil in a large stock pot, and to that, a cup of granulated sugar and a cup of coarse salt. Now this may sound like a lot, but it really does take all of this, I promise you. This will really make the meat nice and flavorful, and that head of garlic that we crushed, skin and all. Give it a quick stir to ensure that the sugar and salt have dissolved before adding the ribs. In these go. Now, believe it or not, you could also do this technique with beef short ribs or whole chicken legs. Pork ribs like this will need to boil for 30 minutes to become tender at the bone. For whole chicken legs, you will only need to boil for 20 minutes. And if you're doing beef ribs, 40 minutes. And set a timer for 30 minutes, and you'll want to start preheating your grill as well. Our ribs have been boiling away for 30 minutes, and it's nice and tender. At this point, you could let the meat cool to room temperature and then refrigerate it for up to a day, and then just pull it back out of the fridge before grilling. So it's got that great make-ahead component as well. If you are going right onto the grill, just let the meat dry out for a few minutes before you season them and carry on. And you can see how the meat has pulled away from the bones, and that's another indication that it's nice and tender. Salt and pepper generously. The seasoning on the surface of the meat will also help us to build a crust when we're on the grill. Lots and lots of freshly ground black pepper. And our good friend olive oil, a drizzle over the meat. Now, if you like to use a dry rub, you could certainly do that here instead of the salt and pepper. If you're on an outdoor grill, prep the coals for direct heat cooking. I'm using a stovetop grill, so I'm over a medium-high flame. And we'll probably have to do these in 2 batches. Since these ribs are already fully cooked and tender at the bone, all we're really doing here is getting them nice and charred on the outside with a crust to develop even more flavor and that wonderful texture that you get from grilling. So this takes about 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, let's take a peek. Yeah, very nice. Okay, so we're starting to get some char, and I'm just going to keep grilling and turning these occasionally until we've got that nice golden brown color all over, and then we can baste. We've built a nice crust on our ribs, and now we can do our basting. This looks so delicious and smells amazing. A little bit on both sides, and give it a turn. The barbecue sauce will caramelize when it hits that grill. And you really only need to do this in the last minute or 2 of grilling. A good slather on this side, if you're using it. Now these are so flavorful from the brine boiling that really the barbecue sauce is just bonus flavor. They're perfectly delicious, just as they are, without any kind of sauce or rub. And then a quick flip on the other side. One more little baste. Oh yeah. Okay. And there you have it. Grilled pork ribs on a weeknight in under an hour. Believe it. Happy eating.